Hi everybody. Just going to do a helper video for lab work week 1, okay? So I just kind of really just want everyone to get familiar with our environment, being able to use a text editor to be able to create a web page and to be able to use some images and folders and structure some content and really just get familiar with the basics of the tags that we will have covered in our lecture sessions on Tuesday, and to be able to use them to be able to create a page and to incrementally build up the content of our web page. And it's really important that we think of it this way. It's like we're not thinking of the web page as a whole. We're going to start with nothing and build up our web page piece by piece, kind of like a jigsaw. It's just going to start with nothing and we'll keep adding and adding and adding to something until we end up with our final version, okay? So the first thing we're going to start off with is the lab document. So I just have it here open in front. So in this lab, we're going to create 3 web pages based on a theme for a food company, okay? So step 1, it's asking us in your student network drive, create a new folder named Web Development 1. So in all fairness, I don't really mind where we store our information. We have student drives that we can use to store our content if we're using the lab PCs. If not, we can just store our information on our laptops, in Google Drive, in Microsoft's OneDrive, and wherever we want, in all fairness, just so long as basically you don't lose it, is the key point to this, okay? So we're going to try and store our information in a safe and secure location. So I'm just going to very quickly flip over to Windows. So I'm doing this example on Windows 10, so similar to the lab PCs, but not the exact same, but there's no difference. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder that I'm going to use to manage my project in. So I suppose this is similar to step 1. So this PC. Excellent. Now, we have a number of different folders that are available to us. I'm going to operate out of my documents folder because that's where I'm going to store my documents. So absolutely brilliant. Now I already have a folder here that's called WebDev. So I'm going to keep all my files for this module in the WebDev folder. So I have one little project here which is Hello World. So this is part of one of my helper videos that I've done. So in here I'm going to create a new folder and I'm going to call my lab work. I didn't specify a name in the lab, so it doesn't really matter. Lab work week 1. So that's my lab work week 1. So inside this folder, I'm going to keep all my HTML files and images for everything for the website that I create is going to be kept inside this folder. So we start to structure our content. We're going to structure our material, okay? So absolutely fine. So that's my step 1. So I'm stored this in my documents folder. Now just be careful that no matter what machine you're using, that when you leave the machine or when you've gone away from it, that you still actually have access to the work that you've just completed. So we don't really want to work on a project for an hour or 2 and then come back and it's gone. Okay, so just be careful and mindful of where you're storing your information. And if you have any questions or any issues, just let me know. Or if you're in any of the labs, ask one of the lab assistants as well, okay? Perfect. Okay, so step 2. So in the web dev folder, create a new folder named lab 1. Okay, so I've called mine lab work week 1, and it's asking us to download labwork1.zip from Brightspace. Oh, okay. So absolutely fine. So this is a little zip file. So trying to remember. Okay, TU Dublin. Okay. So just log in if we haven't done so already. Log into Brightspace. Okay, so it's going to ask you for your authentication details. So when prompted, just log in and that'll bring us into Brightspace. Okay, so I've logged in, I've navigated to the web development module, and I've gone to week 1. Okay, perfect. So you can see here in lab work, there's a zip compressed file. So this is step 2. So in the web dev folder, create a new folder. So we've done that. Download lab work 1.zip from Brightspace. So click on the little icon and we're going to download it. Okay, so it's going to download it, hopefully to our PC, and very specifically into our downloads folder. Okay, so sugar. Okay, so in File Explorer, so this computer, so in my downloads now, if I click downloads, you can see there's lab work week 1. To be able to use this, I can go right click, send to, and I'm going to say extract here in new folder. So I need to extract the content to be able to access it. So I click on that, and if I, and we have to do this, it's a compressed folder, so we need to extract the content to be able to access it. So there it is there, it's lab work 1. You click into it there, you can see these are all the images that we're going to use to build up our web page. So I'm just going to copy everything. So I'll do, oh sugar. So I'll do it the old-fashioned way. So select everything, Control A, copy it. I'm going to go right click. Okay, right click on the images, right click, copy, or I suppose the keyboard shortcut is hold down Control C. Now if I have copied them, I need to paste them somewhere. So I'm going to go back to my documents folder, web dev, lab work week 1. It's telling me that this folder is empty. Right click, paste. It's not empty anymore. So I've literally taken the contents of the zip folder and brought it into my folder. Now this is really important. If we don't extract the content, it's not going to work correctly. We won't be able to access it. Okay, so this is what we'll have to do every time. If someone gives us a zip file, we need to extract the contents out, copy it, and bring it somewhere that we're going to use it or operate on it or use it as part of our site, etc. Okay, cool. So I have an extra little video that's in the step 2 link about zipping or unzipping files. If you feel like a watch, please do so. So step 3, it's asking us to create the standard HTML document as shown in the lecture notes. So we're going to use Notepad++ as the editor, and we're going to save it as index.html in your lab 1 folder. Okay, excellent, cool. So let's see what I have open. Okay, so I have no editors open, so I'm going to move my friends out of the way here. Okay, sugar, that's, I'm just going to minimize him for a minute. Thank you. Okay, cool. Oh sugar, I'm killing these computers. Brilliant. Right, so I've done it this time, haven't I? Okay, that's VirtualBox. I'm closing down all the wrong things. There we go. Okay. Right, Windows is getting the better of me. So I'm going to use Notepad++ as my editor. So I can either get him out of the Windows menu, and he's conveniently on my desktop here. And I know if anyone's using the lab PCs, Notepad++ is on the desktop as well. Okay, so just double click that. Okay, so there's a file open. So if there's any files open, there's anything there, just close everything. Let's start with a nice clean slate. Nothing that's going to distract us. So I have a new file, and I'm going to first and foremost save it. So I'm going to go File, Save As. Excellent. So I'm going to click on Documents, Web Dev, Lab Work Week 1. Okay, so there's all the images that we copied in earlier on, which is brilliant. So for my file name, I'm going to save it as index.html, but I'm going to put it inside double quotes. And that's basically going to make sure that the .html extension or the web page extension is saved correctly. So double quote index.html. So type that in nice and easy, make sure it's correct, double check it, and click save. Excellent, so that's my web page saved. And if we want to double check we've done it correctly, go back to lab work week 1, and you can see there's a file there called index. Brilliant. Super, so now we can start building up our web page content. So doc type is HTML. So I'll just type these quickly as I go, just in case I'm skipping any steps or someone's not sure exactly how I've done something, okay? I'll just go through it piece by piece, and you know, it's actually really good practice. The more we type this out, the better we get at it. We'll start to remember some of the tags. So we've our head tag. Every tag that opens closes. Everything that has a beginning has an end. So head, inside head, a web page always has a title. So there's my title. What do we call it? Golden Veg Limited. We know good type. Okay, and everything that has a beginning has an end. So be very careful with the tags, and you can kind of see the way I'm operating here. I'm not typing miles ahead of myself. I'll type in one tag that opens, and then I'll type in one tag that closes, and I'll keep that cycle going, okay? So demonstrate again. Here's the body of the page. There's the body tag opening. Here's the body tag closing. And if I want to put some content in here, what are we going to say? Site content goes here. That's brilliant. Excellent. So that's the basic structure of our HTML5 page. And while very basic as it is, we're going to expand this further as we go. Small piece by small piece by small piece. And at the end, hopefully we'll have a reasonably good looking website, okay? Okay, cool. Have I saved that? Now, if I've saved this, no, I haven't saved it. Okay, save. I want to make sure that what I've done up as far as what we've done is actually working. Okay, so I want to see this. I'm just going to squeeze this in this way a bit. I want to see this appearing in a browser. So I'm going to back to my project folder, and I'm going to double click on index. So I'm going to open my web page in a browser. So the browser, I think, is it's Google Chrome. Excellent. So you can see up at the top, I've called it Golden Veg Limited. So I've typoed that already. That's brilliant. And I have site content goes here. Okay, well, the page is displaying. So this is actually going to be a good little test. That was meant to be Golden Veg. So I've obviously typed it in wrong. Okay, so I can go back to my text editor, and you can see I've golder. That was meant to be golden. So I typed the N there. Perfect. So I've made my change. Save the page. Now, if I want to view the updates I've made to the page, I don't need to go back into the folder and double click on it. I can come back into the browser and just click refresh. You can see that the golden, the update has actually changed here for us. So that's actually really good, okay? So absolutely perfect. So step 4 is asking us to copy all of the files from the extracted zip folder. So we've already done that. So they're already in there. And if we're questioning, you know, how or why we've done that, you can see that all of the images that were in the zip file, we've actually copied into our lab work week 1 folder, okay? So the next step, step 5, is asking us to update the body tag to body, and it's adding in an attribute called background. Background equals to background.jpg. So it's letting us change the background image of the page. Now we're doing this with attributes, and I'll be very honest, this isn't good practice, but we're going to learn as we progress with this over the next few weeks what's good and what's not good, to be able to look at some HTML, be able to look at some CSS, and to be able to understand ourselves whether something has followed best practices or not. But really what we're doing today is just getting up and running, okay? So let's go back to our editor, and I'm going to type body, background is equals to, and I'm going to put it in double quotes, and I'm going to type in background.jpg. Oh, okay, background.jpg. Where it is, what's background.jpg? Okay, so if I can figure out how to move my browser, this guy, oh, where's my phone? Okay, we have a file in our folder called Lab Work Week 1, which is called background.jpg. So this is what we're talking about. I'm going to double click on it and see what we get. Okay, so it's a very thin image that starts with a kind of a shade of grey, which is darkish, that goes down to a very light shade of grey, okay? And this will be our background image. So let's put it in and see what we get. background.jpg. Excellent. Okay, so if I could only figure out how to operate my keyboard shortcuts on Windows, I'd be doing very well. So with our new background image applied, we can kind of see that the white background has now become our kind of shaded grey, and that was the image that we've actually added to our site. So we can see that background.jpg. We flick back over here, this grey shade that we see here, that's actually the image that we've actually added to the site. So maybe just for a bit of fun, and I know this is the one that the lab has asked for, I'm just going to put in a different image just very quickly. So I'm going to very quickly go back to Lab Work Week 1. What other backgrounds do we have? Oh, okay, cool. Background 1. I'm just going to see what background 1 is. So, come on. Okay, so it's just the kind of pink dots, I suppose. Be the best way to describe it. Let's see, can we add that into the page? So I'm just going to go back to my editor, and I'm going to change background to background1.jpg. So I'm going to save my change, go back to the browser, then just click refresh. Now, sometimes the browser might cache content, so just be careful of that. If the change doesn't happen, just make sure that the browser actually isn't caching, or that you clear out some of your temporary internet files. So we've changed, that's the change that we've made there, and that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to swap back just to follow what we were doing again. So you can kind of see we're getting into the iteration of making some changes, saving those changes, and going back to the document to see if it reflects those changes for us. So that's absolutely perfect. So that was step 5 completed. Brilliant. So I'm just saying again, following the document or page layout. So step 6 is giving us the layout of the new page will look as follows. So it's giving us our header, our content, and our footer. So all of the HTML tags that we've discussed in class are going to be used to create our first page. We've 1 or 2 new tags that we're going to introduce as we go as well, primarily tables. So first we'll plan how we're going to lay out the content for the web page. So the content of the page is going to be divided into 3 specific sections. So I'm literally just following step 6 of the lab document. So I'm going to go back to my document here. So instead of site content goes here. A normal web page is made up of a header, the content, and its footer. So the semantic HTML5 tag or self-descriptive tag for a header is just a header tag, H-E-A-D-E-R, header, opens. I've got to come down a new line. Header closes. So I'm just going to literally put something in here. This is the header section. Okay, perfect. So literally following step 7. My content I'm going to place here. I'm just going to put it inside 2 comments first. And I know we could use different tags for it, but I'm just introducing the comment. So a comment appears, it's visible in the markup, but it won't be visible when we render the page in a web browser. So it's kind of like a little secret, and it really is for whoever's just reading the code. So it could be considered a kind of self-descriptive message for developers, etc. So I'm going to call my comment. So a comment goes with angle bracket exclamation hyphen hyphen space, whatever the comment is. So I'm going to call this content section, and then I go hyphen hyphen, and then my angle bracket closes it. Okay, so that's a comment. If I load the page, content section won't appear. So I'm going to have I'm going to put another comment in, which I'm going to call it my closing comment, but it's really just to kind of group them together. I'm going to say end content section. So I can comment out whatever I want with this notation. I could even comment out markup if I wanted to. If I didn't want to display some tags or markup on the page, I can comment it out. It's not gone from the markup, but it won't display on the page. So it's very important to kind of get that, okay? So I'm going to say, okay, fine. And then I need a footer. So semantic tag again, the footer tag. Footer open. Footer close. And I don't know what I'm going to put in here. Maybe site by whatever. I'll tidy that up in a minute. So this is just to kind of get up and running. Okay, okay, perfect. So I'm going to save this. Save. I'm going to come back to my browser. I'm going to refresh. Oh, excellent. So this is the header section. Content goes here and site by. Okay, brilliant. Things are moving on. Still not super exciting yet, but that's absolutely fine. It's incremental. It's slow and steady. Add a piece in, save it, see how it looks. If it's not doing what it's doing, we know what step has gone wrong because we've only made kind of one or two small changes to our markup. So if I thought that something had gone wrong here on me, it's easy fix. It's either going to be in the header, this little piece here, or in the footer. If I type in 300 or 400 lines of markup and it's not working, well, I kind of have to, you know, I'm not saying we won't find out what's wrong with it, but it's a little bit more difficult. So that kind of stepped incremental development makes life a little easier for us, okay? So it's now telling us, so I'm on step 7 again, the page should now look as follows. Perfect. So step 8, now add an image to the page. So this will be the web page header. So as this is going to be page content, the image that we add is going to be within the body tags. So all of our content goes inside the body tags. So that's massively important, okay? So really make sure that we get that and that we don't break that rule when we're typing. So if I'm looking at my markup and there's some headers or content or divs or images that are on the page but aren't inside the body section, the alarm bell should be ringing. You're kind of going, okay, I wonder how or why that's gone there for us, okay? So first step, we're going to add our image inside the header tag. Okay, so the image will be used as the site header for the new page. We're going to use header 3. So to insert the image onto the page, add the following HTML in place of this will be the header section. Okay, so this is the header section. So we're going to get rid of that. Perfect. And I'm going to put an image on the page. IMG SRC, so it's the image source. This is saying to the web browser, this is where you will find this image, and it's going to look in our project folder for us. So I'm not going to put the image in first. So I'm going to say SRC is equals to, and I'm going to put in double quote, double quote. I'm going to put the image name in there in a minute. I'm going to give it an alt. The alt is a kind of description of what the image looks like on the page, okay? What are we going to call it? Site header. And what is it? Fruit baskets. So if anyone's using a screen reader or they're visually impaired, there's software that will actually read out the alt for the image so they can't view the image,
and it'll say that this is the site header and that you're looking at fruit baskets. So it kind of just, it's a little bit more inclusive. Okay, from an accessibility perspective. So let's see. So the image name is header3.jpg, Header tree.jpg. Now I'm just going to say this here. I know we're on Windows 10 for this example. The Windows won't mind whether the image name is case sensitive or not, as in whether that's a capital H or a small h. So it won't make a difference on Windows. If we try this on a Mac or something that's Linux or Unix based, it will care. So other computers are case sensitive. Okay, so just be careful of that. So it's usually whatever the file name is, we should just stick with that. So I'm going to go back and look in my folder and say that, okay, header3 is with a capital H, and that's what I'm going to type in. Okay. So, okay, I'm just going to move my friends out here a bit. Okay, perfect. So let's see if things are working. Save that. Go back to the browser. Refresh. Excellent. Cool. Okay, that's starting to look a little better. So that's our site header. So we have some picture of fruit baskets, which is absolutely nice. So it'll be nice for our fruit and veg store. Brilliant. So that's a nice little start for it. Okay. So it's displaying exactly as I want. So if it's not displaying as expected, double back, have a look at your code, make sure that what's in the document or what's in our lab document matches exactly what you've typed, and make sure that that's corrected before you go on. So don't plow on if we have an issue or a mistake. Rectify the issue, make sure you resolve it, and then move on to the next step. So step 9. So we will focus on setting up the page content. The markup we will add to the page will go inside the comments we have already placed on the page. Okay, brilliant. So we have our comments. So let's have a look at them so we can see them here on line 12, 13, and 14. So add a heading tag between the comments to list the company's name. So we're going to say it's going to be the Golden Veg Food Company. So we're going to do this as a heading tag. Okay, excellent. So we've seen this in the notes already. So if we're unsure, we should double back and have a look in the notes for these. So I'm going to use H1. Every tag that opens closes. So I put my closing H1 in. Brilliant. What did we say? Golden Veg. What did I call it at the time? The Golden Veg Food Company. Cool. I'm just trying my best to follow exactly what we have in the lab. Golden. That's twice I've typoed that. Brilliant. So excellent. So I've added my H1 or my heading. So I'm going to save that. Back to the document. Refresh and see how it looks. Excellent. Cool. So incrementally building up. So that heading looks nice. I'm happy with that. So step 10 is asking us to add a horizontal rule after the company's name to separate the heading from the logo and the descriptive content that we're going to add. So if you kind of remember the exact format for the HR tag, check the notes. Well, there is no real format to it. It's just exactly as we've written it there in the document, which is great. So to add a HR, so okay, so I'm literally straight after, I'm going to space these out as well, make things easy to read. HR adds a horizontal rule. So we can space out our tags. They don't all have to be squashed up on top of each other. We can make it more human readable, and that suits us. The browser doesn't care. The browser is a computer. It'll just process all this and display exactly what's there. But I want to make it more readable for us who will be working on our markup. So if there's anything that needs to be changed, it'll be quite clear and intuitive where things are, how it's laid out, etc. Okay, so click Save, back to the document, click Refresh. And you can see there it's just added a little kind of grey bar, so that separates out our content. So the horizontal rule is doing what it's doing there, which is absolutely fine. We'll be looking at these tags in more detail next week, and we'll be describing exactly what they are and when they should be used. So it's kind of, they all have their own very specific usage and meaning, so we're going to delve into that in the next week, in the next couple of weeks as well. Okay, so step 11 is asking us to add a heading called Welcome and a paragraph of text. describing the veg company, and it's saying we can use Lipsum.com or enter our own text. Okay. So I'm going to put a heading on the page. So straight after my horizontal rule. So we're building the page up. So it's kind of like, I'm going to call it a top-down approach. It's like we're building the content on the page. H3, everything that opens closes. H3, close the H3 tag. And what are we calling it again? Welcome. Sugar. And then that's perfect. I want to put a paragraph of text on the page. So the P is my paragraph tag. Everything that opens closes. Brilliant. Okay, excellent. Now, so now I think this is the point of, what content do I put in? So I could type in my own description. More often than not, it's probably the Golden Veg Fruit Company or food company is going to have to give us this description. So until they give us this description, I'm going to put in some placeholder text. So I'm going to go back to my browser and I'm going to go to Lipsum. So Lipsum.com kind of gives us a computer generated placeholder language text. It kind of looks like Latin gone wrong, that we can just place in on the site so that it gives the illusion of text. And if we were showing the page to someone, they can kind of really get a feel of what the site is, the layout, where the information is going to be, etc., etc. So we're going to take some of this placeholder text. Once the page loads, I'm just going to scroll this down. So go to Lipsum.com. Oh, fiddlesticks. Okay, I nearly said it. Click Generate Lorem. I agree. Generate Lorem Ipsum. It's going to generate 5 paragraphs of text for us. And that's it. So we can take as much or as little content as we want. I'll take a paragraph. I'll take the paragraph, and if it's too much, I can decide myself then. Did that copy? We'll find out. So I'm going to go back. Okay, everything has gone slow on me. I'm going to paste in. Okay. So I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Right-click. So I've copied it from the site with Control-C. Highlight it, copy it, Control-C, and then just paste it in. So whichever way you want to do your copy and paste, absolutely fine. So that's gone off across the page on us, which is absolutely fine. We don't mind. So that's paragraph of text. So it's wrapped. The text is wrapped within the opening paragraph and the closing paragraph. Brilliant. So what do we do next? Save. And then we go back to the browser. Go back to Golden Veg. Then reload. Just click refresh. Excellent. So it's asking to translate the page. So I didn't copy as much of the text as I would have expected. So I'll fix that in a minute. Okay. So you can see here that I was expecting more text. I'm not. Pretty much. I was expecting a lot more text. I'm not getting it. So easy fixed. So same again. I mentioned it earlier on. If we're not happy with some of the steps, once I visually see that it's not doing what I wanted to do, I fix it. So I'm going to go back to Lipsum. And literally going to copy that again. Okay, cool. So highlight the text. So I'm doing this with the mouse. I've right clicked it, drag the mouse up. Control C is going to copy for me. I'm going to go back to my editor. delete what's there. And then let's paste again. Control V is paste. Excellent. Save. Back to the browser. Back to Golden Veg. And refresh. And that should give us our big paragraph of text. Excellent. So super happy with that. So now I have my welcome, and that's my welcome message, and that looks great. So perfect. So I've resolved my issue. Now I move on to the next step. So now I'm on step 12. So I'm going good with the steps. So I'm going to come back to my editor, get myself set up. Okay, perfect. Got to come down a new line. So straight after the paragraph, give myself a bit of space. So step 12. This step will add a table to the HTML document. So tables we haven't covered yet. Tables should be only used to store tabular data. We're going to use our tables here, which is a tabular structure, and we're just going to put 3 images in. So it's really that we're just getting familiar with the tags, okay? So same again, we will talk best practices in the coming weeks and what tags we should be using for what. Ideally, this is not what we should use a table for, but it's good to see, okay? So to add table, T-A-B, table, I'm going to say width is equals to 80%. So the width of 80% is 80% of the browser's width. So if I have Chrome or Firefox or Edge or whatever browser I'm using, if it's filling up the screen, if I'm telling the table to be 80%, it's 80% of the browser's width. Okay, so that's perfect. And I'm going to say align equals to center. Tell the table to position itself in the center of the page. So that's my table with its attributes. So width and align are attributes of the table. And I close the table tag, very important. So I close up the table, perfect. Now inside my table, I'm going to add in a table row. So TR is a table row. So a table can have multiple rows. R1 only has 1. So type in the TR tag and then close the TR tag. So for each row, I can have different containers and different subsections. So that's going to be our table data, TD. Okay, so TD opens. So type in TD closes. TD opens. TD closes. TD opens. TD closes. Okay, excellent. Now just be careful with these. There's a lot going on with the tables. So try and follow this little incremental build up that I have. Image, so okay. Maybe I'll space these out a little better. So you can kind of see that if it seems a bit confusing, you can space out the tags to suit yourself. So I'm going to space mine out so that it's just easier to kind of see what's going on, okay? So there's my TD. So inside the first TD tag, I'm going to add an image. Image source equals to, I'll leave that as 2 double quotes, alt is equals to, and this is a description of the, so just say fruit bowls. Close the image. Perfect. Now if we're lazy, I'm going to take a loan of the image. So I'm going to copy that. Now if you just type them out again, typing's probably better practice. I'm just going to speed the video up a bit. There's my second image inside the TD, and then for the third one, inside the TD, I'll paste it. Okay, so we could give these more meaningful names. So I think the second image is carrots. I'll just give it a more detailed description. Even carrots isn't that good. I could have done a little better on it and say peppers. Perfect. So okay, now we have to type in the image name. So it's fruit underscore veg underscore bowls underscore 1.jpg. Perfect. Cool. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to do these one by one. I'm going to try and do them one by one. Save page refresh. Okay. Okay, so the image is displaying, which is great, and I see one for carrots and peppers that isn't displaying. The image is absolutely massive, and I can see that from what I was told to do in step 12, I haven't done it. So the image gets an attribute, image width is equals to, what do we have it as, 250 pixels. It's a smaller size. So click Save, back to the page, refresh. So keep going until it's doing what it's doing. Okay, perfect, that's a nice size. That just seems to be in proper proportions with the page. So I'm super happy with that. Now I'm going to go back and finish off my other two images. So I'm going to say width equals to 250 pixels. And I'll do the same for this one. Width is equals to 250 pixels. The source for the second image is healthy underscore carrot underscore salad underscore 2.jpg. So the .jpeg is the file extension for an image. The third TD container, I'm going to put its image in now. I'm going to say peppers underscore and underscore walnuts underscore 3.jpg. Perfect. So click Save. That's saved. Now it's saved. So just be careful. The changes won't reflect if it hasn't saved. So that's why it's very important to make sure that has saved. Excellent. So there's our three images. So really good. Okay. So the tables we will cover in the coming weeks, but there's a really good tutorial on the W3 Schools, and I've added the link in on the table for that as well. Okay. So absolutely perfect. Step 13 is asking us to add another paragraph of text after the table. Okay, so that's easy done, and I can get a bit of reuse out of what we've done here. So straight after the table, it's asking for another paragraph of text. We already have a paragraph of text, so we can type it in again, or we can literally take a loan of what was line 18, 19, and 20. So I've copied line 18, 19, and 20, and I'm going to paste it in. Now, just be very careful if you're cutting and pasting that you're one, pasting in the correct location, and two, that you've copied the appropriate section. So there's my opening paragraph, there's my text, there's my closing. Save, back to the page, refresh. And same again, let's just see what we have. Okay, that's not displaying for us. So, oh, this is a very good example. So see, page hasn't little stars there just up at the top left. That means the page hasn't been saved. So click Save, come back, refresh. And then there's my extra paragraph. So that's perfect. So that's step 13 complete. Now we can move on to step 14.
So for step 14, we will add a content section to the web page. So we want to have a section to display text and an image followed by more text. So let's plan the structure and layout before we start typing out the markup. So literally just following step 14 from the document. So I have a heading, a paragraph of text, an image I want to display, and a paragraph of text. So that's pretty much our basic structure. So it's asking that we add a section to the page. So see line 40 here. I'm just going to use my semantic tag, which is called section, self-describing. Section opens. Careful. Section closes. Excellent. So What do I want to describe in here? Well, I want to have a heading. I want to have some paragraph of text. I want to have an image. Ooh. And I want to have some more text. Okay, excellent. So this is my little plan. So I want to have another heading in here. Okay, well, perfect. So, okay, so we're getting some guidance from the document. The heading is going to say that it's about our orchards. Okay, excellent. So, I don't know, what am I going to pick? I'll go for maybe heading 3. Heading O, whatever has a beginning has an end, so close our tag. About our Okay, perfect. Then I need a paragraph of text. Okay, well, we can get some lipsum. So maybe I'll just do this one again. So, okay, cool. So I'm going to come back to my website and just get some text. So this is some lipsum text. Right click, copy. Brilliant. And then I'm going to come back to my page. So I need a paragraph of text. Well, I'm going to put my paragraph in, open paragraph, close paragraph. No sugar. Okay. So there's my text. Excellent. It's asking us to put an image on the page. Well, I can do that. So replace my image with image. Source is equals to alt is equals to, that's my description. And I'm going to call it apples. To close the tag, self-closing tag. So the source for the image is picking underscore apples underscore 5a.jpg. Okay, cool. And then after that, it's saying it wants some more text. Well, I'm going to be lazy here and take a loan of my paragraph, highlight the opening tag, the closing tag, and the text. I'm going to go edit, copy, and then instead of more text, I'm going to go edit, paste. Excellent. So save, back to my page, refresh. Okay, my screen has sized itself a little bit funny, which is fine. So I'm just going to make my browser a little smaller. Okay, perfect. So now I have about our orchards, some text, nice image, and some more text. Absolutely fine. So that's step 14. And if we need some help or guidance for this, the markup for step 14 is actually on page 8 of our lab document as well, okay? So step 15 is asking us to add another section with the following content. So we're going to add another section that has a paragraph, that has an image, a line break, and some text. Okay, so text editor, brilliant. So straight, there's my section. So come down 2 lines. I'm going to add in another section. Whatever opens, closes. Okay, so I'm adding an image. Not sure yet. Alt. Not sure yet. And then close the image. I'm going to fill in some of the gaps. The picture is going to be the sheep underscore pic underscore 6.jpg, and the description of it is alt equals to. Just be careful as well, I left out the equals to for my alt, so it will all cause problems. I'm going to give this another attribute for width. Width equals to, what will I give it? 300 pixels. Okay, so I'm going to save that and see if that works. So it'll incrementally build up. Where is the browser? Okay, refresh. Okay, excellent. So there is a picture of a sheep, which is great. Okay, now for inside my section, I'm going to add another paragraph. And the paragraph, the image is going inside the paragraph, okay? So just watch what I've done there, see? So the image is inside the paragraph, and I'm going to tell the paragraph to. So I've added another attribute to the paragraph tag called align. So this will center the paragraph now. Same again, this is a style rule, and it's been added to the tag, which is not good. But we'll see this in the next couple of weeks why we shouldn't do something like this, but it's fine now just to get up and running. Okay, so hopefully that'll center for us. Click save. Back to our friend. Refresh. There it is, centered. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to add another line break and a label, and we'll call this our page. Okay. Sugar. Oh my god. Line break. So BR puts in the line break, so it basically just come down one line, carriage return. Label, open a label, close a label. What you looking at? Veg. Oh Lord. Veg. Fruit and veg. Okay, perfect. So that's great. So let's see what we're getting. Save. Back to the browser. Refresh. Excellent. So you can see there that we're getting this for our little image, which is super. And then the last one is step 16, and it's saying update the footer to add your name as the site creator. Okay, cool. I think we might already have done this, but we'll have a look. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. So there's our footer. So so I'm going to put it as H6, whatever opens closes, close to H6. So site by John 2019. Maybe I'll go. Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to save that. Then, so just make sure that we've saved. We have, and then go back to the browser, refresh. Okay, cool, you can see it there. Site by John McCarthy 2019. That's absolutely perfect. The little bit of the grey that we're seeing here is the overlap of the background image that we've put in. So you can kind of see up the top that it's kind of a darkish grey, and then it comes down to a fade, which is a light white, and then it actually laps over again. So absolutely fine. So that's just the basic setup of our pages. And I know it's a little bit of a longish video, but hopefully you found it useful just to show or to demonstrate exactly how we can create a document and how we can follow the steps and how we can incrementally build something up. Okay, so the lab is asking that that was step 16. Step 17 is to create 2 more pages for this website using the same steps, one called fruit.html and one called veg.html. So maybe just create 2 new pages following the exact same process, add some content, build it up, see whatever it is. And once we have this done, we should be able to zip up our content and upload it to web courses or upload it to Brightspace. And I have a helper video that's in the lab document that should help with this as well. Okay, any questions, let me know. Bye.